Welcome to Beyond Expectations. In an effort to build rapport with our listeners who want holistic wellness in their lives
and are looking to expand from what they already know beyond expectations.
Hello.
Stop it.
Welcome to episode 4.
Hello, you guys. So today we're going to go more into the body and mind, but more so into the body as well, okay? So I want to talk about some of the stuff that I do and the cues that I ask when I'm assessing somebody who is interested in living a healthier and more physically active life. And a lot of that comes with a lot of assessment questions to start a baseline, to see what they are doing and what we could improve on, and whether they're willing to change. Bottom line, that's the biggest thing.
So you're talking about clients that are coming to you, hey, I'm feeling icky in my body, or is it like for physical fitness, or are they coming for overall like nutrition too?
Most of it, I'll get a couple. I'll get mostly for physical, because everybody, I think physical becomes an easier goal because they can see it.
Yeah, measurable.
It's measurable, and as much as even for that measurable goal, you have to work a lot of internal. They want to see the results, right? Everybody wants to have something that's tangible. So with that, we have obviously different fitness assessments that we do. As well, we test your functional movement. Like your basic squats. We go into your upper body, your flexibility, your hamstrings, your low back, because those are essential things that you need to learn how to do. We go into that a little bit more. Then we talk before that. I get to build a rapport with them and say, hey, Nakia, how are you? How are you feeling? Say, what brings you to the gym or coming to talk to me?
Ooh, how about like you do me?
Okay, we'll do a brief because it takes a longer time to do it. But
because there's always things you need to. I feel like I live a pretty healthy lifestyle, so it'd be a good thing for our listeners to hear somebody who already kind of does their own self-care practice, including the physical. Mine is mostly yoga,
right?
But I would love to hear how you work.
Yeah. So the first thing is we have to refine the goal, right? So the first thing is, like I say, what brings you here to the gym? Is it just because you want to?
Well, what about me? I hate the gym.
Okay, so what brings
the gym scares me, all the people in it.
What brings you to talk to me? What is it that you are wanting or seeking from me as a health coach, right? So then I would ask you those questions. But most of the questions I'll ask is first, what is your goal? If you have a goal in mind, right? And I also talk about, do you have a physical goal that we can work towards? Well, again, people like something measurable and tangible. So if it is a wedding or a spring break.
I want 5 pounds gone by my trip next week.
Right, which obviously that's unrealistic. Right.
But
or a better way of saying that's unrealistic is say, okay, understand that in order for you to do that, this is what you need to do. And from that perspective, they'll be like, okay, that's a little unrealistic. So you have to show a little bit of responsibility and see if they're willing to take on that, because essentially you want to see if they can, because people might want a 6-pack, but are they going to work to do and get that 6-pack?
Yeah,
right. That's a lot of the issue that I come across with a lot of clients is they want something but they're not willing to work for it, and it's the first thing is to have them understand what you have to do to attain that, and if they're willing to do that. So talking about what is your eating habits, going into your eating habits, give you a typical day, what you eat. And of course, they don't tell you everything, right? Because they want to.
Because you forget too.
It's not about it could be you forget, but they want to hold back what they ate because if they ate bad. But we try to tell them to ask us a typical day that you ate today. Be honest, and the more honest you are with me, the more I can help you. If you cheat yourself, then I can't really help you.
Do you have them do like journals?
Yep. So then when I get them as a client, I ask them to write for 3 days what they eat. Is exact measure and the exact type of food as you like. I also tell them to use MyFitnessPal because it is easy way to just put something in. You can just look it up and it gives you a whole bunch of options. And what it does, most important, is educates you. So when you put down a salad from Trader Joe's, it'll tell you all the nutritional factors in it.
Oh, really? MyFitnessPal.
Yeah, MyFitnessPal. And it'll give you even restaurants, everything. But you get to see, my gosh, this salad was actually 600 calories. I thought it was only 3. Right?
Well, so something is 3? calories?
I'm sorry, 300.
Okay. I was like,
300
three?
calories.
Is that even water?
I'm saying everything remaining is like, if I say 2, it's 200.
Okay.
Calories, and they educate them on how many carbs are in, how many protein is in 4 ounces of chicken. That's going to be around 27 grams. But it gives you an idea, so then you can look at food and eyeball it and know what the nutritional, the most important macronutrients, nutritional fact of it is.
So you just know when you look at food what protein is in it?
Essentially, most of it.
Yeah?
Like,
Is it because you just kind of eat that way? And
well,
you
it's not
just
even that because
consume?
I study. So if I'm looking at someone's diet, I have to kind of have an understanding what they're taking in. So, talking about, like I said, macronutrients is including your proteins, fats, and carbs, right? Because those are the foods that give you the most nutrients and energy, most importantly. And all serve great purposes. So fat is just as important as carbohydrates, and carbohydrates is just as important
I
as
know, when
protein.
does fat get the bad end of the stick? Because I love me some avocados.
Avocados
They're
are
so
great.
good for you,
It's
and
so
they're good for your hair and your skin. And
Hair,
I
your
remember
skin,
there was a
your
moment
mind,
that your mind,
your brain, your memory.
everything. It's good. It's like the good fruit.
Yeah. So
And,
actually, memory. There's been research about Alzheimer's, any diseases with Alzheimer's or memory loss, cognitive thinking, has shown that more healthy fats, that omega-3s most importantly, more of those that you will actually help. And also research are talking about fasting. Fasting, what it does in fasting is that when you, fasting is when you basically are not eating, right? So then you have to pull from your storage, your glycogen storage, which is stored sugar, essentially, carb, sugar. And when that's depleted, what it does is starts tapping into your storage of fat. And that will then, what it does is it stresses your body. And it stresses your body to work a little bit more, which helps then improve. It's almost like, I don't want to make it like it reignites a spark of something that hasn't been used, right? So it makes
because we're using the sugars as fuel.
Yes, and we
on the
become
surface.
dependent on it. So it almost made us lazy. So then what it does is it kind of fires up something, certain fuels that are going to help us actually with our memory and our thinking and
yeah,
stuff.
I actually support that because sometimes I
that's
work
research
really
on
hard.
fasting.
No, I agree because sometimes I work really hard and I kind of just don't stop to eat.
Yeah.
And I do find myself even more energetic, and I'm like, how come I have barely been eating?
And now probably there's a phase that goes through that though. So there's probably a period where you feel yucky, and then once you get past that period, I would call that a threshold, right? And there's also a threshold in physical activity. So often I like to train my clients to work past that threshold. I just had a client who was doing squats. Now that's where you have a trainer, because you want someone to actually push you through that sticky period when you do the squat, let's say.
Instead of just giving up and laying down.
Right, because you can. You're gonna hurt yourself if you do something it's too heavy for you. But you need to work. You do that, I guess, in life, right? You don't think about that. But in physical, you need to work past that threshold, that sticky period, right, to improve. So I have to assist her to get out of that heavy lift. And she can't do it on her own.
Oh, because she's squatting with weights.
Yes.
Oh,
so
like, why
she's trying to get right. So she's trying to do more weight to get stronger. She's gonna have to increase that weight, but get to the point where she has. I said, I'm gonna get to the point where you're in a sticky period, where you're struggling. I want you there, and I'm here to assist you to get out of it, right? And we can apply that actually probably to life, right? It's funny, I teach this in physical activity, getting healthy, but I'm like, so much of this can be applied into every life decisions of knowing that stress is not always a bad thing.
No,
it's working through that. Yes, it's working through that. It's like I said, so in order to improve, you need some kind of a healthy stressor to kind of challenge you to take the next step, to get stronger mentally, get stronger physically, strong spiritually, whatever that is. And how you react to stress, I think, is the most important thing.
Yes, definitely.
Right. So yeah, we go through a whole analysis of what, obviously ailments, any medical. First important thing is they have to go through a screening of their heart condition, number one. And then we'll go into any injuries or any problems that will go into possibly come up when you go to physical activity or working out. And then we go into the diets and everything like that. So we go through a lot of stuff. But I can kind of go through something really quick with you if you want.
Yeah, if you want, it's up to you.
Yeah,
So what would you like?
So what is it? What is it that you feel that you lack or you can use, let's say not even lack, let's be more positive, that you could use improvement in living a healthier, more physically active life?
I think right now I can get very passionate about projects. I get interested in things that I have to get done. And luckily, I now have a team who's assisting me with some of my passions with my business. But I think I can get deadline oriented. So how can I, when there's a deadline and my routine is disrupted?
Okay.
Because I do have a routine. I have yoga classes I go to regularly. Like after I drop my son off at school, sometimes I have an open hour. If I do have an open hour, I might go take a walk.
Right.
Or yoga class. It's generally a walk or yoga class. That's it. Like I'm very like a habitual creature. Or I go read a book. And that for me is also a part of my fitness routine because I do need to decompress from all the thinking I'm doing.
Right.
So how can I, when I have a deadline or something that comes up that takes me off my routine, how can I add up some physical fitness in there that'll keep me burning the correct fuel?
Okay. But some of the just things that I would suggest is like if you, depending on what it is, but if you need to study, I find that studying and exercising, so I've exercised on a bike before and read, research, the highlight marks might be a little all over the place, but it's also been proven that when you exercise, you retain better, you learn better. So I've learned that I study better when I'm actually on the bike and reading. I retain a lot faster. I'm not reading the paragraph over and over and over again. I'm able to more quickly move.
So maybe if I have to read articles or I'm researching something for a project, to go to the gym, on the bike. Now, my challenge there is, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, that I don't like the gym. I don't like the environment of the gym.
You can have
with a lot of people. I don't have a bike at home now.
Well, you can get
Why
one.
do I go buy one?
Yeah, so you can get a cheap one for $150. It's a foldable bike on Amazon that I got. And like I said, I don't like exercising. I think people think just because I
like
teach it.
exercising. I really honestly don't like crowds of people around.
Oh, okay. Well, then get a bike. And the Pendleton bikes are a lot more expensive, but that's why home gyms are becoming kind of relived again. Different things. Workout videos that used to be DVDs are now on your phone.
Yeah, you can stream everything.
People are going back to doing home workouts now. So it's all accessible, right? So you don't have to be, if that is your obstacle.
That is my obstacle to the gym.
There's always something that there's always a solution to an obstacle, right?
And I think the only reason I like to go to yoga is because it's such an internal practice that I'm okay with other people being in the room with me. Yeah. Because I'm on my mat doing my thing. There we go back to my individualistic thing, right? I'm on my mat and I'm following what the teacher is saying, but I don't have to engage or feel their sweat on me. I hate spit. I don't know if I don't like crowds or whatever, but when it comes to working out, I do like my own space when it comes to working out because I like the freedom to just be really immersed in it.
That makes sense.
Something about gym classes and going to the gym kind of is the opposite of that. So that's my obstacle.
Yeah, so you can start incorporating, more work and exercising. If time is a problem, is an obstacle. Obviously, you could do it at home. There's so many different accessible things that you could use. And another thing that I imply is I put it in my calendar as a meeting. If you talk about it's an appointment. It's an appointment. Yes, you make appointments for everybody else. We talk about self-care. People need to make an appointment for themselves. It's an important self-care appointment. You put it in your calendar and say, hey. So I put my workouts in my calendar. I say 2 to 4, boom, my workout, and that's it. That's locked in there. Now, if something more important comes up, then I'm of course going to take that off. But at least it's there. It's part of my template. It's my day, and then I try to work around it as much as I can. I think that's the most. If you want it to be important, you want it to be something in your life, you have to implement it in your life and work around it. Discipline. See, you have it. Discipline. Yeah. When it comes to that, some other stuff not so much. Yeah. And then when it comes to food, you guys, I'm very much about healthy, balanced eating. So, and I say that is because I grew up where my family was very much about low fat, eating healthy. But we ate tons. We ate tons of carbs. We ate just because we thought it was low fat, right? Another thing of being low fat, but then if you're over consuming.
Yeah.
It's still a
Noodles.
problem, right? The same problem. Not even just noodles, just over consuming food, more calories than you actually burning. That becomes storage as well. So it was kind of a backwards way of thinking. You know, so it's all about balance, right? And then now I'm older, I actually like fat. I didn't used to use butter. I'm like, oh my gosh, this bread is my girlfriend made this like steak and bread and something, and I was like, oh my gosh, what did you put? She's like, I just put some butter and salt and steak, and I'm like, it's amazing.
Because it's butter.
Because it's butter and salt. I don't even eat salt very often.
Yeah.
But I think the problem is we deprive ourselves so much that we actually go to the other end of binging or going through problems. So when I was a kid, I actually had an eating disorder. Now, it wasn't necessarily food related. It was more about control. Like most eating disorders is about control. Something in their life is not going right, or they don't know how to handle the stress or what's going on, so they take on pick up an unhealthy habit that they feel like they can monitor and control. So that
and they become addicted to it.
And they become addicted to that thing. So, you know, mine was bulimia. So mine was, I would emotionally eat, right? Because it made me feel like I'm taking all these problems and just be numb to the problems. And then I would actually feel like I was purging them out, throwing them out, feeling better about myself. And I also feel guilty.
Felt like you purged?
Yeah, I felt really fat and yucky, worse, to the point where I felt like I had to throw it all up, and it made me feel better temporarily. But it was just it's a temporary relief. Like most things, right? We go for temporary stuff, temptations or urges and whatnot. So that's what a bulimia is. So that can also be with exercise. You can excessively exercise as well because you overate to compensate. But there's a lot of other health complication that comes with bulimia, with anorexia. That could be a whole different subject, but that does actually, I wish I had some more trivia on that and I can bring one next time, but the effects of body image disorders, eating disorders, whether they are clinical or not, huge. Increasingly huge.
I've had some clients who developed an eating disorder. Like I started working with them when they were younger, preteen girls, and then as they transitioned into their body, and a lot of them had issues with their mothers, like a lot of attention seeking of their mothers, or their mothers were very rigid in things around them or against what was going on. You know, and I just saw that it was about control, and a lot of times, you know, eating disorder, the treatment of it is very intensive. You know, that's why there are so many treatment programs where you have to go inpatient within the hospital and do a lot of work with the family because, you know, to put the responsibility of healing that whole dynamic on one therapist, I always felt like it's not something I was willing to profess any kind of expertise in because it's so many levels.
It is. And one thing that I did do an outpatient.
You did?
And one of the things that I didn't like is I felt there was a lot of focus on food. And if that was my focus, I didn't want to, when people would monitor what I'm eating, watch what I'm eating, that made me feel uncomfortable. So what I found my relief was being physically active, feeling the endorphins, the rush of endorphins, feeling good about how I feel internally when I exercise, feeling de-stressed, being more mentally aware, doing something for myself. That, and I've said it several times, is exercise has become my antidepressant.
It is an antidepressant.
It is.
It is a very good treatment for anxiety and depression. It just is. And I think it's so funny to me that no matter how many times we tell people to go on a walk and they're like, we're tired of being told to go on a walk, and you know, sometimes clients come in for therapy because and they're overweight. And it's a part of our assessment to notice, you know, physical fitness and stuff. And so being overweight is a symptom of depression because it just shows us that you at some point in your life stopped disciplining your body to stop eating or moving. Right. Like, you know, one or the other. Maybe you don't eat a lot, but you just don't move.
Right.
You know?
So what I give a visual and I say, what kind of car do you want to be?
What kind of car? Want me to answer that?
Go ahead. What kind of car do you want to be?
What kind of car? Well, I like my car. I want to be a Lincoln.
A Lincoln.
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess that just means regular gas, right?
No, it's a hybrid.
So it has a little bit of battery.
It's an MKZ.
So the battery maybe is vegan and So I asked them what kind of car they want to be, and you know what do you like about that car, right? And how's it run? It runs off of gas.
Oh,
right?
It runs off of gas and electricity, and it preserves itself.
Right. And so then I talk about, you know, if you think about if you were that car, you know, you running it to empty all the time and then not feeding it, what does it do to the car? It internally damages the car, right? You want to always have it, someone said it, always keep it at least half. So that be your empty and constantly fill it up. So you're always just ready to go, right? If you have a Ferrari, you're putting unleaded fuel into it, it's not going to run as efficient. So depending on what you feed to your car and how you treat your car, which is essentially metaphorically your body, right? How efficient do you want to be? Do you want to be fast? Do you just want to be slow? Do you want to be like a rundown car that's, you know, whatever? And when it's a rundown car, maybe you can still, guess what? Refurbish it.
Yeah.
Make it better.
Yeah, because there's nothing wrong with, like, it's not like we're judging weight as health.
No.
Because, you know, some bodies are just born bigger boned and voluptuous and wonderful.
Yes,
I wish I was more voluptuous in certain places. But there's a point where your body feels icky. It's not even about what it looks like.
Right.
It's about what it feels like. And if it feels icky and unhealthy, then usually that's correspondence with what's going into your body and what's, you know.
And what's sad to me is this. I think the most thing is, one of the questions I ask is, when are you the most happiest with your body, right? And sometimes people never feel that. They've always had issues with their body, always been overweight. So when I give them a question like that, it's hard for them to think of a goal. It's hard for them to feel a goal because they've never. It's easier for you to work for something that you've already had.
Yeah, that's true.
What it felt like. You know how to be there, what it's like. But when you don't have that, you have no starting line of what it could be. And people don't know the potential of where they can be because they've never been it and never seen it. So it's almost like you have to play this imaginary game and do a lot of motivation to tell them that who they can be. Yeah. You know?
Or they only know what they know from movies and magazines and books they've read.
Right.
And we kind of have an image of women, at least, you know, as a woman, that's what I can speak to. Like, I remember growing up thinking that, like, we all had to have that hourglass shape, and like something must be wrong with me if it wasn't particularly indented in my waist.
Right.
You know, if you don't got an apple bottom,
right.
you know, these
yeah,
things,
exactly.
because as a black woman, especially culturally, you know, black women are known for booties, and here I am, you know, I'm mixed, and I was like, where did I get the white booty?
Exactly.
You know, so but all that is like body image related to culture, related to expectations. And now I'm just like, this is what I got. Of course, sometimes I would like to.
I gotta work your assets, girl.
I gotta work it.
You were gifted a nice booty. You just need to tone it and maintain it. You gotta tone and maintain it. You can't just abuse it. Gotta give you something beautiful. What are you gonna do? Give you a singing skill. You're gonna just go smoke? No, you're gonna go in and you develop that vocal cords because God gave you a gift. So right?
Drink my honey and my tea.
Whatever it is. You got a wide waist. You got a wide waist. Go ahead and put some wide butt. And I was like, but
I mean, cause what's I'm saying, I'm trying to point out like the little minimal things that we think about ourselves, but they become huge because of how we think others.
Yes. Of course, because we haven't installed self-value first, going into self-value. So people want a tangible goal first, something that they can think that they can achieve, right? But the bottom line of all that is that we want them to pick up healthy habits and a lifestyle. So while they're working toward a tangible goal, they're actually picking up other healthy behavioral habits that they're like, you know what? Exercise, I like this. I like how it feels. I like what I do. I like where it's leading me. And then it's not about reaching this goal. It goes beyond that. It's about being healthy and living a healthy physical life, more fulfilled life. So it's not about, the goal has kind of diminished, right? And you continue to live that life. So it's really about helping you develop a healthy lifestyle slowly. Yes. And I don't want to intimidate people, but if you reach that body goal, amazing, and you will reach that body goal. But more importantly, we want to help you. So it doesn't take you. That's why we say it's a lifestyle. So you're going to train with us every so often. It's not going to be a month program. It's not going to be a 2-month program. It depends on where you go. It might be a 3 months. It might be, there's people who do it trainer for the entire life. Yeah, I got used to you.
One of my friends actually last weekend I went to lunch and she was like, my trainer's leaving. I don't know what I might refer to you. But she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. He's moving out of the country. I'm used to this person. This
Yeah.
is how I've got this healthy lifestyle that I really love.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm gonna do.
How often do you see your doctor? How often do you see your
Yeah.
therapist? How do you know?
I think it's different with a trainer. Like even for like with a therapist, they should only see me once a week, and that's when they're even like kind of in a space where they're ready to do more intensive work, and then we wean them off, and they come every other week,
Right.
once a month, and when they need to come. I think physical fitness, like health coaches like you or fitness trainers, you kind of like get to be in their lives more often, purposefully, especially in the beginning.
Right.
And then the weaning off is dependent upon the goal, whereas our weaning off is kind of dependent upon their processing of where they're trying to go,
And I don't want people to think that we do know more, but most important thing is that people know what to do. They're not being
they need a cheerleader.
They're not being accountable, and they're not disciplining themselves to do it. So we become that, sorry, I'm going to say it, that whip. Be like, hey, that's good. Now I'm saying, but we become that accountable partner that makes you, fulfill and lead to your goals. So that's essentially why you need us more often, because, if you're working out one time a week and you're eating like crap and not doing anything else, that one time really does nothing for you. Yeah. Right? Just
besides tells you, it gives you an excuse.
And if anything, it discourages you. You're thinking, I don't need this one time because I'm not seeing anything.
I'm not seeing results.
Exactly.
Because you think that one time should have given you results.
Exactly.
So that should word again.
Yeah.
Should.
So lifestyle. So one of the things about food, right? This article talking about mindful eating is just
mindfulness is like giving attention to something without judgment.
Yeah, and just making sure that we actually sit down, take a fork, maybe even bless the food. If you bless the food, you take a pause to appreciate the food, right? Sit down, sit up straight, make it an event. Often if you make it with people around you and make it an event, it's a more pleasurable experience. But if you're always on the go and just stuffing your face, you're not even enjoying what you're eating, right? So I think the difference, and we talked about, there was research about cultural eating and how in America we're on the go all the time with different cultures. Part of possibly why they're not overweight is because they actually have more food culture. They actually sit down in families. They have a big
and they breathe while they eat,
and they cook.
Yeah.
And take fresh foods. They take more time in enjoying food culture and cooking food and being around people that enjoy food. I think most of us who are always thinking about work, we're just feeding, we're stuffing our faces, not thinking about what we're eating, right? And I don't know if you ever noticed, you guys, is when I've gone to a fancy restaurant, right, and it's fancy food and it tastes delicious, I don't eat a lot if I know. Have you ever noticed that? Do you eat a lot? Really?
I eat it all. I want like a 4-course meal.
Oh, see, I take my time, but you take your time.
Yeah, I take my time.
You enjoy, you take your time. So why can't we appreciate food like that with everything that we eat? Right? If it's a bag of chips, appreciate those bag of chips. Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
One chip at a time.
I know that, I don't know if I can say it, but I know that when I was high one time, I took Kentucky Fried Chicken wedges, and they were the most delicious thing. I was like staring at myself, taking small bites, like, oh my gosh, this is so delicious. Look at myself eating these Kentucky Fried wedges. That's so funny. Enjoy.
The best Kentucky Fried Chicken ever.
So whatever it is, enjoy the food. Take time to enjoy what you're eating and what you're doing. So that's.
I think we're gonna lead in with that and take time to enjoy life. Yeah. Take time to notice everything that's going into your mouth, into your body, into your environment, the people around you. The things you give time for
and appreciate
it. So that's your homework, listeners, to go out into the world and notice things that you appreciate
and look up sometimes.
From your phone and from everything you're worried about, from your schedule, from your planner, and just notice and practice mindfulness. Because I think that's something that's been a common theme throughout all of our episodes so far, that we want our listeners and ourselves to just notice what makes us happy and what helps us to live healthier and happier lives. And I think that's the first step. Self-awareness is always the first step in making any change. Yes. And we encourage behavioral change for healthier happiness, right?
Let's just be mindful of everything we do and appreciate everything, even the smallest things. even if it's a Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Kentucky Fried Chicken wings. That taste amazing. KFC.
KFC.
All right. Goodbye from Beyond Expectations.
Yes.